Part 1. Introduction and General Principles. Introduction. In poor and remote communities, making ends meet is a daily struggle. Household cash flow is extremely irregular. Even the smallest setback can push households into a debt trap they can't escape. 4 out of 5 households in the developing world have no access to formal financial services to help them survive the bad times. Few banks are willing or able to collect their meagre savings made during the good times. And when there's an emergency, such as a drought or illness, there's no safety net. Desperate, many resort to selling what little they have, land, livestock, or even next year's crops. Sometimes they fall prey to moneylenders and end up in debt for years, blocking their path out of poverty. The Aga Khan Foundation, or AKF, realizes that the poor have a wide range of financial services needs to meet daily expenses, to respond to emergencies, and to engage in economic opportunities as they arise. Poor households use a broad range of financial services, juggling as many as 15 different services at one time. The problem with multiple mechanisms, many of them informal, is they can entail a lot of time and cost, be inconvenient or embarrassing, and exploitative or unsafe, increasing the vulnerability of the household. While the formal microfinance industry is making inroads toward improving access to financial services for the poor, it is the informal sector, friends, family, shopkeepers, and the community, which provide the bulk of financial services in remote communities. In recent years, efforts have been made to support the informal sector through improving community-based systems. In 2009, the Aga Khan Foundation established its community-based savings program. The program promotes, mobilizes, and trains independent and autonomous community-based savings groups, or CBSGs. CBSGs provide members with a safe place to save, access to credit on flexible terms for investment, consumption, and emergency purposes, and a basic form of insurance. And very importantly, any profits from the group are kept in the community. The purpose of the program is to improve the economic security and cash flow management of poor households in order to reduce the risks of economic shocks. AKF has already introduced CBSGs to 7 countries in Africa and Asia, and is committed to facilitating more CBSGs in the remote communities where it works, to reach hundreds of thousands of members. In this film, we go to 2 very different countries, Tanzania and Tajikistan, to find that this new approach to banking for the poor has proven highly successful in many countries in Africa and Asia, and is now being adopted in other parts of the developing world. Despite contextual differences, participants in both countries see similarly positive effects from the opportunity to save and borrow in small, flexible amounts, all within their village or neighborhood. The Aga Khan Foundation and its partners do not provide any external capital to the groups. The only source of loan capital is the savings of the members themselves. Success has come from communities engaging in a form of banking that suits them, and more importantly is managed by them. General Principles. A community-based saving group, or CBSG, is a group of people who save together and take small loans from those savings. The activities of the group run in cycles of 1 year, after which the accumulated savings and the loan profits are shared out to the members according to the amount they saved. The purpose of a CBSG is to provide simple savings and loan facilities in a community that does not have easy access to formal financial services. A CBSG builds on informal savings groups found in the villages and urban slums in virtually every country in the developing world, increasing transparency and accountability and providing more flexible services that meet the needs of the poor. Even the least literate, least influential member can understand and be confident participating in a CBSG. The group is owned, managed, and operated by its members. AKF trains the groups and provides technical assistance for a period of 1 year But field staff never manage the operations of the group, nor touch any money. The group is composed of 15 to 25 self-selected members. It is important that the members know and trust one another, and this is only possible through a patient process of self-selection. The group has a minimum of 15 members so that it is large enough to mobilize a useful pool of capital, but a maximum of 25 members so meetings do not become unmanageable. The first cycle of a CBSG is a training and supervision cycle, which lasts 52 weeks. During the first cycle, the group meets weekly or fortnightly, decided by AKF staff. After the first cycle, the group continues to operate in annual cycles. At the beginning of any cycle, members may choose to increase or decrease the frequency of meetings. At the beginning of the training, each group elects a 5-person management committee, which lasts for one cycle. Each group also develops a constitution that contains the rules and regulations related to its governance and the provision of financial services. Each member has one vote in electing the management committee and developing the constitution. Members save through the purchase of shares. The price of a share is decided by the group. At each meeting, every member has the opportunity to buy between 1 and 5 shares. This provides flexibility for members to save more or less depending on their circumstances and the time of year. At the beginning of each cycle, the price of shares may be changed. However, it must not be changed during a cycle. Savings are maintained in a loan fund, from which members can borrow in small amounts, not greater than 3 times their savings. Loans are repaid with a service charge, calculated as a percentage of the amount borrowed. This percentage is chosen by the group members and charged on a monthly basis. At the beginning of each cycle, the service charge may be changed. However, it must not be changed during a cycle. Loans are made from the loan fund once every 4 weeks. All members of the group have the same right to borrow from the loan fund, up to a maximum of 3 times their savings. Loans should not exceed 3 months in the first cycle, but in subsequent cycles, the group may decide to extend the maximum loan duration. The loan repayment structure is flexible. The borrower may repay whatever amount they wish at the monthly loan meeting, but at the very least, the borrower must pay the monthly service charge. All members have an individual passbook and a rubber stamp with a simple symbol to record the purchase of shares. Individual loans are recorded in the same passbook. All transactions are performed at meetings in front of all group members to ensure transparency and accountability. To ensure transactions do not take place outside group meetings, cash and passbooks are locked in a cash box secured with 3 padlocks. The 3 keys are held by 3 group members who must not be members of the management committee. There is no group ledger or complex system of accounts at the level of the group. The closing balance of the group's fund is simply announced and each member is committed to remembering the amount. It can also be noted in a notebook at the end of each meeting. All meetings are savings meetings, where members purchase shares. Loan meetings occur once every 4 weeks. All loan transactions, loan repayments and disbursements of new loans are made at the monthly loan meetings in front of all the members. The group fines members for absenteeism and lateness, but it does not fine borrowers for being late on loan repayment, which only makes repayment more difficult. Fines are added to the loan fund. In addition to the loan fund, made of combined savings and fines, each group also has a social fund. The social fund serves as a safety net, used mainly for emergencies for the members and their community. Each group agrees upon the amount each member must contribute at each meeting. The social fund is not intended to grow. Rather, the amount is maintained at a level that covers the basic insurance needs of the group. Once the amount is reached, contributions can stop until the social fund needs to be replenished, at which time members contribute again at each meeting until the agreed amount is reached. Any member requiring support from the social fund makes a request publicly to the group during the meeting. Approval rests with the group, and funds may be disbursed immediately in the form of a grant or a loan with no service charge. The social fund is kept separate from the loan fund. At the end of every cycle, the loan fund, which includes the accumulated savings, plus fines, plus service charges, are shared out amongst the membership. The amount received is based on the amount invested as shares, including earnings calculated on a prorated basis. The annual share out provides a lump sum to all members and is usually planned to occur at a time when members need cash. The annual share out resolves any outstanding issues and builds member confidence. It provides an immediate verification to all members that their money is safe and the process is profitable. The annual share out is mandatory. After the share out, members who do not wish to continue may leave the group and new members may be invited to join. At the end of the share out meeting, members who plan to continue to the next cycle may all agree to use some of their savings to purchase a larger number of shares, thereby making an exceptional contribution to the loan fund to begin the next cycle. This allows members to accumulate savings and also initiates the cycle and any lending activities with a useful amount of money. If the group decides to do this, all members must first agree on the share price for the next cycle. Each member can then purchase any number of startup shares, which, for this one time, may exceed 5. When a new cycle begins, members determine the share price and can also agree to change the social fund contribution and the loan service charge. However, the share value and loan service charge can never be changed during the cycle. The facilitator then facilitates the revision of the group's constitution and the election of a new management, and the group continues to operate independently in its second cycle.